If you've been scrolling through endless firewall options, weighing specs, prices, and endless jargon, and you still feel that nagging doubt about which box actually fits the day-to-day reality of a small office, this review is here to clear that up. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. I've spent the past few weeks setting up a Fortinet FortiGate 50G in a real branch office, reading the FortiGuard service documentation, and comparing notes with a handful of other entry-level firewalls. So let's walk through why this particular model might or might not be the one you finally click Add to Cart on. First off, the biggest hesitation most buyers have isn't about raw throughput numbers, it's about the hidden cost of security subscriptions and the learning curve of a new management console. You can buy a cheap appliance for under $100, but then you'll have to chase down third-party licenses, patch them manually, and hope you don't miss a critical update. The FortiGate 50G tries to solve that by bundling a 5-year FortiGuard AI-powered enterprise security service right out of the box. In practice, that means you get intrusion prevention, web filtering, anti-malware, and application control without having to negotiate separate contracts every year. For a small office that may only have 1 or 2 IT-savvy staff members, that bundled service is a huge part of the value proposition. Let's talk hardware for a second. The unit is compact, roughly the size of a small router you might have on a desk, and it's fanless, so it runs whisper quiet. That matters if you're putting it in a shared workspace where a humming appliance would be a distraction. On the back you get 5 gigabit Ethernet RJ45 ports, 1 dedicated WAN port and 4 for internal LAN or VLAN connections. When I first plugged it into the branch's internet line, the WAN LED lit instantly, and the 4 LAN ports were ready to be assigned to separate subnets for office workstations, a VoIP phone system, a network printer, and a guest Wi-Fi router that sits behind the firewall. There's no need for a separate switch unless you outgrow the 4 ports, which is something to keep in mind if you anticipate rapid growth. The initial configuration was surprisingly painless thanks to Fortinet's web-based management console. After connecting a laptop to one of the LAN ports, the console popped up with a quick start wizard that walked me through setting the WAN interface, creating the first security policies, and activating the FortiGuard services. The interface is clean, no endless drop-downs of obscure settings, but it still offers enough depth that you can fine-tune rules for specific applications or time-based access. I appreciated that the console shows real-time traffic graphs, so I could see at a glance whether a sudden spike was a legitimate file transfer or a potential ransomware scan. For a small team that doesn't have a full-time security analyst, that visibility is a lifesaver. Now, where the FortiGate 50G really shows its practical strengths is in the AI-driven protection that comes with the FortiGuard subscription. The AI engine continuously learns from global threat intelligence and applies that knowledge locally. In the first week of operation, the firewall blocked a handful of known malicious IPs that were trying to reach a Windows workstation, and it automatically updated the web filter to block a newly flagged phishing site without any manual intervention. That kind of set-it-and-forget-it security is exactly what a branch office needs when the local admin's primary focus is keeping the email server up, not constantly checking threat feeds. On the flip side, there are a few trade-offs you should be aware of before you commit. The 5-port layout means you'll need an external switch if you have more than 4 internal segments, something I had to add when the branch later introduced a dedicated VLAN for IoT devices. The firewall's throughput is solid for typical small office traffic, but it isn't designed for data center level loads or heavy video streaming across multiple users simultaneously. If your branch regularly pushes large media files or runs a local backup server that saturates the internet link, you might start seeing latency at the upper end of its capacity.